In answering the question, you are not reflecting the energy that I'm perceiving. So the question is, how do you feel today? Good! That's the answer I want. You feel wonderful this beautiful day that God gave us to me. We are healthy, we have a good school, and we have good teachers. We have, you don't like the teacher? All right. Let me ask you a question. You think teachers do have a good job? Yes. You think teachers work very hard? Yes. You say no. You say no. Teachers do work very hard. As a matter of fact, while you're watching TV or in the park playing your favorite sport, or in the gym, or just watching TV, the teachers may be correcting the exams he gave you today. And this could happen 12 o'clock in the night or 1 o'clock in the morning. They work very hard. In the summer, you go to camp, you have a good time. The teachers also go to camp. But you know what? They take their briefcase with them. What do you think they do? They plan the next year of class. So they work very hard. And you know what? Not only that they work very hard, but they give you their knowledge. They went to school, they studied, they learn, and then they pass on to you whatever they learn. Let's give a big hand to all our teachers. You may be wondering what these gentlemen are doing here today. I represent an organization called Save Latin America. Don't let the name Save Latin America mislead you. We're very much concerned with the Hispanic community of this country. Oh, we're also concerned with our Latin American countries. Here we are having a big marathon sponsored by Save Latin America with the help of UPS. You know what UPS is? Yes. What does UPS stand for? United Postal Service. Great. That's it. We have some representatives here. They're helping us put together a marathon to help our brothers of El Salvador. So yes, Save Latin America is concerned with the countries, Latin American countries, but mostly we're very concerned with the fact that we want to inform our communities. The chairman, the founder and chairman of Save Latin America, Mr. Antonio Ibarria, is also the owner of 5 newspapers. And we are very concerned with informing our community of the many services and growth opportunities that we have in this country. And there are tremendous opportunities here. Regardless of the country of origin, regardless of the color of your skin, there is a lot of opportunities, provided that you are ready to take advantage of the opportunities. And one of the things that you need to be ready to take advantage of the opportunity is to be educated. There are many opportunities, many opportunities that you cannot take advantage of if you're not well educated. And one of the speakers will address that later on. Save Latin America works through a number of commissions. One of the commissions is an education commission. We're very concerned about the fact that our youngsters are dropping out of high school at the rate of 30%. And if you don't finish your high school, then my question is, where are the teachers of tomorrow? Where are, within our communities, where are the lawyers? Where are the doctors? Where are the engineers, the architects? Where are our leaders of tomorrow if you don't finish high school? And you know what? There are a number of reasons that you may have not to finish high school. And you may think, I cannot finish high school because I'm poor. My family is poor. I cannot get the things I want in life because I'm an Hispanic, because I am an Afro-American, because I am Indian, because I am Asian. Nonsense. You don't get the things that you want in life because you don't want to. Anybody ever heard of the Williams sisters? Anybody heard of Tiger Woods? You know what? They're blacks, and look what they've done. You know why? Because they put it in their mind to be successful at what they wanted to do. And you could do the same thing. And we help by bringing people through this program called Reaching Our Dreams, bringing successful Hispanics to talk to you, for them to tell you some of their life experiences so you understand that life is not easy. Whether you are poor or rich, your life is not easy. Whether you are black, Hispanic, or white, your life is not easy. And you, our leaders of tomorrow, must understand certain realities of life, and that is one reality of life. You supposed to work very hard for whatever it is that you want to accomplish in life. And if anybody tells you that you could earn or reach fame easy, you could tell them he doesn't know what he's talking about, because that's not reality. The reality is that you have a responsibility. You have the responsibility of running this country. You have the responsibility of being the lawyers and teachers and police officers and firefighters of tomorrow. And we're starting today, because today we are going to understand that life is not easy, but yes, you could accomplish whatever it is that you want to accomplish in life. Let me tell you something else. We have a couple of speakers. They're going to tell you about their life's experiences, as I mentioned before. That's their job here today. What is your job? Your job is to listen and listen carefully, and let me tell you why. Your teachers will ask you, will invite you to write an essay based on your perception of the presentations of the speakers. How many of you like that assignment to write an essay? I was expecting that. But you know what? You know what? Say what's going to happen. You're going to write an essay. The teachers, the school administration is going to pick up the 10 best essays from all this group. They're going to give it to us, to the Education Commission of Reaching, of Save Latin America. Then out of those 10, we're going to pick up 3. The 3 authors of the 3 best essays that we picked from this book and from many other schools around this area are going to be invited to a dinner with the parents and the teachers. And you're going to be given a plaque. The question is, where are the 3 people that in March are going to receive a plaque from Save Latin America? Let me see those hands. Give yourself a big hand. That's great. Very good. So now you're going to be listening very careful and take a lot of mental notes. And one of our speakers is a young lady from a Puerto Rican background. A young lady that is perhaps one of the nicest human beings that you could meet in your lifetime. And she is here from the governor's office. All right? Today we have a new governor. How many of you know that today we have a new governor? Hands up. This young lady represents that governor. Her name is Angie Armand. Let's give Ms. Angie Armand.
Good morning. Anybody in the back hear me? Can you hear me? Okay. As Johnny says, I work for the governor. I work in the New Jersey Department of Community Affairs, and I am the director of the Center for Hispanic Policy Research and Development. But before I tell you what I do, let me tell you a little bit where I came from. I am one of 9 children, the only college graduate. We have 8 girls in my family and 1 boy. I've been raised in Newark, but for the past 13 years I live in Jersey City. Guess where I lived 7 years ago? Across the street, 59 Ocean Avenue. Now I live on Lembeck Avenue. And I want to tell you some stories of what I did when I was in school, what I went through before I became director of the Center for Hispanic Policy Research and Development. And I have to tell you the stories because what Johnny says is true. You can never let anybody tell you you cannot succeed. I was raised in the worst parts of North. I've been in little shootouts. I've lived in drug-infested neighborhoods. I've seen people get shot in front of me. I've seen people get killed in front of me. And that has not stopped me. It has not stopped me from succeeding. I also remember that when I went to 8th grade in Albert Street School in New York, I had a teacher, and it's very important for you to listen to your teacher. I had a teacher who said, when I was signing up for high school, I said, I want to be a secretary. He said to me, he said, why do you want to be a secretary? You're too intelligent, too bright. You can do better. And he was right. I did do better. I'm not a secretary. But I also had a teacher in high school who said I would not succeed. He said, you'll never make it. You're a minority, you're a woman, you're Puerto Rican. I said, we'll see. And guess what? I've yet to go visit him, but I will visit him. And will tell him that I did succeed. Same thing in college. You will go through a lot of things, a lot of obstacles, a lot of situations when you're going to school, but it's very important to know that you will succeed. You will deal with racism, you will deal with many things. I went to Drew University in Madison, New Jersey, one of the best universities in New Jersey. That didn't mean that I did not deal with racism. I did. I got called a stick. I had to deal with a situation, or actually the minorities on campus, we had to deal with a situation where it was Black History Month, and Drew University has a rugby team. They don't have a football team. And the rugby team decided they were going to have a slave ceremony on Black History Month. And that just goes to show how insensitive they were. They actually put advertisements in the papers to put a little black slave on the block to show that they were going to have a slave sale. We protested, it never happened again. But those are some of the things that I've been through, and I can't not, well actually I can't imagine what some of the things that you go through right now, but you will go through more. Just remember that those are just obstacles, those are just what I call roadblocks that you just need to jump over and you will succeed. Now what I do today, I create and develop programs for the Latino community of New Jersey. I am responsible, my state mayor office is responsible for assuring services and programs to Hispanics in New Jersey. Now, although my office is targeted to Latinos, I do work in the Department of Community Affairs, where we deal with housing issues, we deal with homelessness, we deal with fire safety. We have the Division of Fire Safety, where the department regulates firefighters and fire departments. We deal with Women's Division on Women, the division that creates programs for women. We deal with basically the empowerment of the community. So basically any type of service you need, we probably deal with. Those of you who live in milestone complexes or housings that are developed by the state, that's the department responsible for. Before I continue, does anybody have any questions? No questions? Anybody want to hear anything else? I just stand up so I can hear you. Yeah, sit up. Stand up so I can hear you. I think my brother was about 8 years old. He was the youngest in school. very lucky that was the only boy that did girls. Go ahead. Can't hear us. He actually, till this day, our sisters and I still angry at each other for being the only girl. No, they're not. My sisters are very proud of whatever accomplished. When I became director, it was how we didn't start it. They were very proud. They showed it to everybody at their jobs. Now they're nieces and nephews. Two of them graduated from college. May, so any other questions? She asked me where did I attend grammar school. I attended grammar school Any other questions? That's a good question, and I don't think I can answer that question. I can answer that question for my parents. And I would have to say that similar to some of your situations, I think it was difficult for your parents. It was difficult for my parents. Raising their kids. Any questions? He asked me what part of Puerto Rico I'm from. I was born in Connecticut. My family was from Miami. He asked me if the only college where I began to earn back in high school. My dad passed away. I guess I graduated, so no. He's down My sisters, she asked the question, what made my sisters not go to college? The answer to that is that my dad was very strict, very old-fashioned. He did not let us go out, so my sisters all got married to get out of this. Can everybody's attention, please? She asked me how was it to be raised in North. Yes, the only thing I can say about being raised in North is that I don't regret being raised in North because it made me a stronger person. Going through everything that you go through in cities, it just makes you a stronger person.
What was the age difference between you and your sister?
Somebody asked, what are the age differences between me and my sisters? We're 1 year apart each, except for my brother.
What college?
University of Madison.
What? Madison University?
University of Madison. I meant that I was not going to be so successful. How did I feel? I felt like I got motivated. I started. But it made me stronger because I wanted to make it more. I can't hear.
Jose.
Let's hear it hard from Miss Armand. You go to college. May Mrs. Armand go to college. What made you teachers go to college? What made every person to go to college go to college? Is their sense of responsibility. And that is what we're talking to you about. Developing your sense of responsibility for your education. So you understand that you could go to college, that you should go to college, that you should educate yourself. So when you become of age and form families, you could provide for your families the good things, the better things of life. And in order to do that, as I stated before, you should be well educated so you could take advantage of the many growth opportunities that we have in this beautiful and this great country of ours. That's why Miss Armand went to college, to educate herself, because she understood that as a human being, despite the fact that she comes from a very humble family, despite the fact that no one in her family before graduated college, she felt a sense of responsibility. That's why I hope that you all think that you should go to college. First, finish your elementary school, then finish your high school and get ready to go to college. And I see, yes, and as I look at you and I see young faces, beyond that young faces, what I'm seeing is lawyers and architects and teachers and big people. And you do have what it takes to pass all grades. I'd like to bring to you Mr. Miguel Villalba. Villalba, his country of origin is Cuba. Miguel Villalba is one of the executives of UPS. Miguel Villalba wants to tell you about some of his life experiences as a Hispanic and as an executive with UPS. Let's receive him with a big hand of applause.
How you doing? Can you hear me in the back?
Yeah.
Very good. Okay, Johnny Torres came to me and he asked me to speak to you. and I spent all weekend thinking about what I would say to you. Okay, the faces I see out here reminds me of me when I was your age. Okay? I know it's difficult to think of someone of my age and your age, but it happens. And I can't begin to know what you go through every day, to be able to come to school, try to get an education, and live the life you're living. The only thing I can try to give you is some of my experience that maybe will help you understand that what you're going through is not only about you, it happens to other people. Okay? In 1969, my parents came from Colombia. I know Gary called me Cuba, but it's really Colombia. Okay? Colombia. And in 1969, how much English do you think I knew at 5 years old? No English at all. No English at all. Okay? Listen to this. My first day of school, I had to go to school and I didn't know one stitch of English. For a year, I spent basically learning what everyone already knew. Knew the ABCs, knew how to count. I was already 4 or 5 years behind other kids. It's not an easy life to start off like that because you feel outcasted, you feel like you're not part of the group. You can turn off, you can start looking at the walls and start staring in other ways when the teacher's teaching. Or you can push yourself. And that's something that I want to try to teach you, is that you have to push yourself. Although you may think you can only do so much, if you don't push yourself, you'll never know how good you could be or how far you could go in life. Okay, fortunately, my parents taught me the value of education. My father had an 8th grade, not even, a 5th grade education. My mother had a 5th grade education. Okay? So I didn't come from a family that has full education, knew how to go to college, knew the ins and outs, knew the best schools, knew nothing. My brother also didn't go to college. He graduated high school, but barely. Fortunately for me, they taught me the value of education. They taught me that, and the way they taught me was this way. Let me tell you how. They're consistently on top of me about whether I was studying or not. And when they saw I was studying, they wondered if I was studying in the right way or if I was getting the right amount of education. And luckily for me, they taught me that. They taught me the value of education. Okay, a lot like you, I grew up in what's called New Rochelle, New York. And there, at what age? Probably in the 4th grade was the first time I saw pot, what you would call pot, right? Drugs. At that instant, I could have picked up that joint and started smoking like the rest of the kids at that age. But what I chose was to do what? Educate myself and go into athletics. Okay? Athletics, look around you. Athletics is the biggest and the best way for you to stay away from drugs and other things outside of school. Okay? So you need to look at yourself and say between the two things, educating myself, going to school, and kids are going to kid on you. They're going to say, oh, look, he's trying to be smart, and this and that. No, it's going to pay off down the line. Then the other thing is when you play sports, basketball, whatever sport you're into, okay, and you don't go to the playground and hang out with the people that are selling drugs. You go to the playground to work out, play the game, to try to shoot better, to try to score the most points, not to get involved with all the other stuff. Okay, you want to educate yourself through that, and then what sports is going to teach you. Let me tell you what sports is going to teach you. Not to give up. That one day you're going to win, one day you're going to lose. But ultimately, in the end, you're going to win. And if you allow yourself to lose, you will. Then, my high school teachers, my grades weren't the greatest in high school, I'll tell you that, but I tried. My high school teachers, I remember the counselor telling me, well, what are you going to be, a mechanic? What are you going to, mechanic, what are you going to do this, that? I said, no, I'm going to go to college. He goes, really? Now look at your grades. Well, my father and my mother thought better, and they sent me to my uncle out in Washington State. And in Washington State, I went to a community school. I was there for a year. My uncle taught me how to learn, to really absorb the information. After a year, I left there and I went to a school here in New York City called Pace University. I spent 4 years there and I graduated an economics degree with a minor in Spanish. Okay? With that education, I was able to get a job at UPS. But you know how I started? I unloaded trailers, I sorted trailers, and then I got into management. I was a part-time supervisor. I knew nothing about how to manage people, money, or anything. Then I was a full-time supervisor. I drove a truck, then I was a full-time supervisor. I moved from the bottom up. Not everything starts from the top. You have to work your way through. Okay? Then I worked nights for about 8 years as a manager. Then recently I was promoted to a division manager. Who here would like to make $170,000 a year? Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this one thing. Do you think you'd make that kind of money without an education? So let me ask you this. How important is an education? You have to stay in school. You have to stay in school. Now, my parents moved us to New Jersey. Hang on a second. I won't be much longer. Listen, my parents moved us to New Jersey back in I think it was 77. I lived right near Patterson. In fact, I was a block from Patterson. Okay, so I grew up in this same kind of setting as yourselves. It's no different. What you have to do is you have to push yourself. Don't allow the obstacles in life to overcome you, and stay straight and narrow. As long as you do that, good things happen to good people. And again, the reason why I'm here, took out time from work to come here, is because when I look at your faces, I see people like myself. I see people that came from the same background. Whether you're African American or you're Hispanic, doesn't matter. We all have to overcome the same obstacles. Okay, so all I can tell you is you got to work hard and overcome those obstacles. All right? Thank you. Any questions? Good. Very few friends. UPS, United Post Service. Do I have some money? I have a lot of money. Hold on a second, please. I'm trying to listen to the question. What? I'm sorry. I didn't know. I thought I wanted to go into engineering at first because I was good at math. But later on, I went into business. Bob?
Make $1 million
In the back? I did.
My dad
About
drives
10 years ago.
You still do?
I could.
Oh, what kind of trucks?
Tractor trailer.
Yeah, my dad owns a hill.
Oh, yeah? I learned how to manage the question up here is, how did I learn to manage? You think you need to be a leader when you manage people? No?
Yes.
You have to be a leader. People need to believe in what you're doing. When people believe in what you're doing, they follow you. It's very important you do that. School. And school. Very good question here. Hang on one second. We've got a very good question here. I was just asked if I had any role models. Fortunately for me, I had a couple. A couple of my uncles went to school, and I saw how different their lives were from my parents. How my parents had to struggle, how my parents had to both work. And when they went to college, how their wives didn't have to work. They could be home with the kids. And they could spend the time they had to educate their own kids. And that was a big factor in what I saw. My parents didn't have a good education.
All right. Listen to this discussion. You heard Mr. Villalba tell you something very important. That gives you whether you realize it or not, even before he met you, he was already respecting you. He was respecting you as a very young audience. Look what happened. He told you that he was invited to talk to you, and over the weekend, he was thinking about what to tell you. That is a high level of respect for you, ladies and gentlemen. Let's give. Now, Mr. Villalba, as somebody with a Cuban origin, is not. He comes from Colombia. I made a mistake, and it's human to make mistakes. The right thing to do when you make a mistake is to correct it, to admit it and correct it. That is a sense of responsibility. Just like he shows you respect by thinking of what he was going to tell you, I have to show him respect because I made a mistake in front of you, with him, and in front of you, I'd like to apologize to Mr. Villalba. And that is a sense of responsibility. Now, we're closing the program, and in doing so, I want to keep in your mind two things. Mr. Villalba says, if you allow yourself to win, you will. Because life is not about mother and father, it's not about my family, it's not about my teachers, it's about me. You are responsible for your life, nobody else. Nobody to think for you. And you may come, you may be members of humble families, but still have a lot in your mind to develop to be wonderful professionals in the future. I'd like to thank the school administration for allowing us to bring our program Reaching Our Dreams. I'd like to invite you all to think that you will be the winner, because 3 of you are going to be invited to a nice party on Las Palmas restaurant in West New York. Within the next, I believe it's going to happen in March. The essays should be ready within the next couple of weeks. And ladies and gentlemen, you've been a wonderful audience. God bless you all.